Okay, so we're back for round two or part two of The Cask of Amontillado by Edgar Allan Poe. So we know a little bit about our characters. We have Fortunato and Montressor, and Montressor is seeking revenge against Fortunato. So he has this plan in mind. He ends up taking him to the palace, and he has already arranged to make sure that nobody is going to be around. And we know that Fortunato has been under the influence of wine, and Montressor tells him, "Okay, well, let me take you down to the basement, essentially, right? The cave underneath the castle or the palace, because he says that he has a cask of Amontillado, which means he has, this type of wine called Amontillado, and the cask that it's being kept in." All right, so I'm going to start right up here. So just to kind of reread what we talked about yesterday. From the long rows of bottles which were lying on the floor among the bones, I chose one which contained a very good wine. Since I did not have anything to open the bottle with, I struck the stone wall with it and broke off the small end. I offered the bottle to Fortunato. "Here, Fortunato, drink some of this fine Medoc. It will help us keep warm. Drink." "Thank you, my friend. I drink to the dead who lie sleeping around us. And I, Fortunato, drink to your long life." "Ah, very fine wine indeed. But the Amontillado?" "It is further on. Come." We walked on for some time. We were now under the river's bed, and water fell in drops upon us from above. Deeper into the ground we went, past still more bones. Your vaults are many and large. There seems to be no end to them. We are a great family and an old one. It is not far now, but I can see you are trembling with the cold. Come, let us go back before it is too late. "It is nothing. Let us go on. But first, another drink of your Medoc." I took up from among the bones another bottle. It was another wine of a fine quality, a de Grave. Again, I broke off the neck of the bottle. Fortunato took it and drank it all without stopping for a breath. He laughed and threw the empty bottle over his shoulder. We went on, deeper and deeper into the earth. Finally, we arrived at a vault in which the air was so cold and heavy that our lights almost died. Against three of the walls, there were piles of bones higher than our heads. From the fourth wall, someone had pulled down all of the bones, and they were spread all around us on the ground. In the middle of the wall was an opening into another vault. And if I can call it that, a little room about 3 feet wide and 6 or 7 feet high, and perhaps 4 feet deep. It was hardly more than a hole in the wall. So I think that this picture, kind of gives us a little bit of, a visual of that. And I think that this version of the story did a really nice job discussing the setting, with them being down underneath the palace and describing, the air and the walls and how dark it was, and along with the vault, right? The one that just so happens to be 3 feet wide, just so happens to be 6 or 7 feet high, and goes back in about 4 feet deep. "Go on," I said. "Go in. The Amontillado is in there." Fortunato continued to go forward uncertainly. I followed him immediately. Soon, of course, he reached the back wall. He stood there a moment, facing the wall, surprised and wondering. In that wall were two heavy iron rings. A short chain was hanging from one of these, and a lock from the other. Before Fortunato could guess what was happening, I closed the lock and chained him tightly to the wall. I stepped back. "Fortunato," I said, "put your hand against the wall. You must feel how the water runs over it. Once more, I ask you, please, will you not go back?" "No. If not, then I must leave you. But first, I must do everything I can for you." But the Amontillado." "Ah, yes, yes, indeed, the Amontillado." As I spoke these words, I began to search among the bones, throwing them to one side. I found the stones which earlier I had taken down from the wall. Quickly, I began to build the wall again, covering the hole where Fortunato stood trembling. "Montressor, what are you doing?" I continued working. I could hear him pulling at the chain, shaking it wildly. Only a few stones remained to put in their place. Montresor, ha, this is a very good joke indeed. Many times will we laugh about it, ha, as we drink our wine together, ha. Of course, as we drink the Amontillado. But it is not late. Should we not be going back? They will be expecting us. Let us go. Yes, let us go. As I said this, I lifted the last stone from the ground. Montresor, for the love of God. Yes, for the love of God. I heard no answer. Fortunato, I cried, Fortunato. I heard only a soft, low sound, a half cry of fear. My heart grew sick. It must have been the cold. I hurried to force the last stone into its position, and I put the old bones again in a pile against the wall. For half a century now, no human hand has touched them. May he rest in peace. So again, going along with the, Edgar Allan Poe's genre of some Gothic literature, this version doesn't go into all of the details as to why Montresor had such this need for revenge against Fortunato, but it must have been something pretty serious if he was willing to, bury him alive into the vaults in the, underground cave, so to say. So I want you guys to be thinking about, the setting, the conflict, and the characters that are involved. Okay. So again, Edgar Allan Poe, meant to be kind of creepy, always one of my favorites. So again, we're reading these short stories just to give you guys a better visual and an understanding of how a short story can be written, in case you guys decide to embark on that writing journey of your own, since we're going to be doing something a little bit different. All right, so we have one more short story that we're going to read together. It is called The Monkey's Paw. That will come in a few days, so make sure you're keeping up on the agenda. You're going to watch a short film, if you choose to do so, of this, just to give you a better visual, and making sure that you're doing the assignment that goes along with this. All righty, bye.